when you walked into an organization and started engaging with the different stakeholders, what do you do when you feel like you're talking to a brick wall? You're not getting the buy-in. They're looking at you and saying, well, why should I trust you? What are you going to do if we fail? How do you handle that?
Yeah.
That's a great question, Kevin. And that was exactly how I started at DBS. My very first presentation resulted in quite a lot of very loud engagement, and and I thought that that was my shortest job ever. But what it did to me was it just made me angry in a positive way, right? So I just went back and well, stuff it. So what I did is I actually went and bought in a demo, a prototype that I'd worked with someone offline to go and make, and I just put it in the CEO's hands. And I remember exactly what he said. He said, "Now I see, I get it." Right? So you have to, I think, be pushed and respond the right way. If you respond and walk away, and then quitters never win. You have to take the feedback, you have to reflect on it, and you have to find a way. And for me, it was a motivation, not something that sent me in the other direction. And I think that you see that in anyone, a sportsman that's down and having bad time, the fight back. You've got to have that Rocky 3, Rocky 4 approach, right? You've just got to fight back. And whenever I get down today, I literally play that music in my head, and like, how am I going to fight through this?
So that talks to this key competence of resilience. And how do you fall down and get back up? How do you learn from that in a way that propels you and motivates you optimistically forward, right? And I mean that's hard to do in a lot of organizational contexts, especially when it's the boss that sometimes doesn't realize that some of the behaviors are disabling to encourage people to keep going and keep going forward. I've been also challenged in a lot of organizational contexts that says, well, why am I here? Why do I keep going? And how do I, when I feel down, discouraged, how do I take others along with me when I know others want to follow somebody who's more optimistic, who's more visionary, who's going to help chart a path forward? And so I think one of these key leadership competencies in innovative organizations is, how do you develop your muscle of resilience? How do you do it in a way that really kind of keeps you going in a positive, forward-focused direction?
I think if I could just add one thing to that, I invest in a bunch of companies, and the three values I look for is humility. If you're not humble, you can't learn. Grit, because those downtimes are always going to be there. How are you persistent and resilient, and how do you fight back? And then the last one's integrity, because without that, you don't have a foundation. And of those three things, when it works, and it does, I haven't had one technically go out with no return out of 16. So the stats, even in this terrible market, are kind of go to as a testament to that. When you have and focus on people with that capability, I think you can achieve a lot.